Welcome to Rob's Rave. On this episode, we'll be talking about why I think Tony Shalhoub, the actor, is underrated. If you're ready, let's check it out. Tony Shalhoub, the actor. Monk. We love you, buddy.
That was a hell of a thing.
Tony Shalhoub he's been really killing it on television for the past 30 years. He got his start on this show called Wings that came on back in like the early mid-90s on NBC. It's kind of like a sort of a show about like a small airport somewhere. And he played like a taxi driver on that. And I don't necessarily remember Tony being on Wings as like a big character. I think that would kind of allowed him to go into bigger roles. It definitely gave him awareness. And the next role I remember him being in was Men in Black as Jeeves. That was really a breakout role. I think Wings allowed him to sort of get into Men in Black, but Men in Black, where his head explodes, Tommy Lee Jones, it like blew his head off because he was like asking him something. It was just great special effects, and he's just a really weird character. Even though he is sort of mild-mannered in that role, he allows himself to kind of be a little more abstract than he is maybe in more later roles. So I think it's really cool to see that range that he had in Men in Black. And it was really a scene-stealing role for him, where you're like, oh, that was a really cool scene. Tony Shalhoub used that to do a sort of another alien-like comedy, which is Galaxy Quest. I love Galaxy Quest, and I think that's massively underrated. I'm going to do a video about Galaxy Quest being underrated. It's probably the next video after this. And Galaxy Quest stars Tim Allen and Sigourney Weaver, and it's sort of an alien space comedy where he plays one of the sort of ensemble characters with a lot of people like Sam Rockwell and Justin Long's in it. Alan Rickman, rest in peace. And I recommend everybody go and check that one out. It came out in like 99. And I think it did well at the box office, but it didn't do like what we think as movies doing, just like banger hits where it's like $200 million, $300 million box office returns. Tony Shalhoub's character in that first instance where you're sort of like getting to know Tony Shalhoub. It's a bit of Tony and the character that sort of endears you to maybe later roles like Monk. And let's get to Monk.
Disgusting. Pig, you work in the food service industry, for God's sake.
Monk was one of the biggest shows on the 2000s, I think, and it was on USA Network for a long time. I think it ran for about like 7, 8 seasons. 6 at least, but I think 7, 8 seasons. He just created a really iconic character with Monk. And I'm sure a lot of people, when they see Tony Shalhoub, are like, oh, it's Monk. And he's like, no, I'm Tony Shalhoub. Tony Shalhoub should have that name recognition. He should get that respect that Hugh Laurie gets. But even Hugh Laurie's kind of underrated. I need to get to more of why Tony Shalhoub is underrated. And it's not his television career, it's his film career. As much as he did Men in Black and Galaxy Quest, and those are great movies, Tony Shalhoub is not necessarily the focal point of it. It's like he's a great supporting actor in movies. He can get the lead in television shows. He got Monk as sort of his vehicle, this neurotic, germophobic detective character that is really iconic for the 2000s. It's just one of those great roles where the syndication, I'm sure, allows him to have more freedom than it is somebody that's like, okay, I got to go chase the next audition. Where did Tony Shalhoub go? Now, he got this show called Marvelous Miss Maisel in, I think, the later part of the 2010s that was like, I think it ran for 5 seasons, and he got an Emmy for it, which is awesome. I think Tony Shalhoub deserves more Emmys. And I think that his television career, they're trying to say, we appreciate you for the legacy of your television career, which is outstanding. I mean, Tony Shalhoub has done wonderful in television. But his film career, he needs more roles. With everything going on in the drama of Hollywood, it might be hard for them to come around to that. But I don't know why. I mean, I don't know why even before, as of this recording, there's a Hollywood strike. But even before the strike, people were underutilizing Tony Shalhoub. What do you think? Do you think Tony Shalhoub is underrated? Do you think I highlighted enough about the different roles? Because he's played great supporting characters on other shows. He's a great supporting actor. I mean, there's no denying that Tony Shalhoub can show up to your show. Tony Shalhoub needs leadership roles. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think he's very capable of that. And we know that. Get on it, Hollywood. When y'all come back, get Tony Shalhoub in movies. Let's do it. Give me a like on this if you like this video about Tony Shalhoub.
First off, thank you for asking.
Be sure to comment on your thoughts. I'd love to get some comments. And subscribe to the channel. I'd love to grow this channel so we can do some really cool things on Rob's Rave, and I can bring you more content like this. Until next time.
What was that? What was that?